Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Asim Amjad. In this video, we will learn about how we can automate the REBA worksheet using Microsoft Excel. For theory and concept building, please check the link mentioned below in the description. Okay, on your computer screen, you can see the REBA worksheet and we have to calculate or find the final REBA score, and on the basis of this score value we have some observations that actually giving us information either our worker posture is in good state or not. So how we can calculate this score value using Microsoft Excel. So before coming to these two sheets, let's move to the calculation sheet and let's see how the Excel is actually performing the calculation to calculate the final REBA score. These are the input values of our observer, like we are watching its trunk position, its net position and its lead position and assign their values from observing the situations. So which situation either the worker is facing, we can simply assign their score values. These are the score values that are actually coming from the observing the posture of the worker. And these three values are also comes from the observer, like upper arm, lower arm and the wrist score. So as I told before, these six values are actually coming from direct observation of the worker. Okay, now these three tables are available on the REBA worksheet. So I'm just copy these three tables on my calculation sheet, nothing else. Okay, after that I can assign the name ranges to perform my calculation easily. I have selected this range as a table underscore A, and this range is named as table B, and this range is named as table C. These values are named as trunk values, these values are named as the legs, and these values are named as the neck. Similarly, these values are named as wrist, and these values are named as the lower arm values, and these values are named as the upper arm value. These values are named as the score A, and these values are named as the score B. Actually, I'm assigning the name of these ranges to simplify the process of the functions. So in this Microsoft Excel worksheet, I'm actually using the index and match function to compute the score values. So for computing the score value related to table A, I'm using the first index function, and under the index function I have to mention these three arguments. For array argument, that is actually the output value that you are actually want to see in this cell, that is actually the table A range, and this value is actually comes from with reference to these three ranges. Okay, so next is the row number, that is the second argument of the index range, and under the row number I am using an other function, that is the match function, and in this match function I have to first define the lookup value. Lookup value is actually comes from observing the posture of the worker, and this value is actually seen in the lookup array that is named as the trunk array. And for match type I'm entering the 0, mean I want the exact match type. Okay, so the third argument of the index function is the column number, and under the column number argument I'm again using the match function, but this time I'm using the AND operator to add these two ranges because I have to specify the net score value as well as the let score values. Okay, so C19 and C20, these two values comes from direct observation of the worker, and these two values are looked in these two ranges that is named as the net and the lets. And again match type is set to 0 because I want the exact match. And then after entering all the arguments, simply press the enter key and you will get the table A score result, that is 4. And how this 4 is actually comes from this table, you can see the current value is 2, this is the true. The net value is 1, mean this one is the range, but the let value is 3, mean this one. So you can see this one is the table A value that is actually showing here while keeping these parameters that you observe through the observation of the worker. Okay, now repeat the same procedure for calculating the table B value. I'm using the same formula as I explained before, but in this case I have to enter these three arguments like upper arm score, lower arm score or the wrist score. That three arguments are actually comes from the direct observation of the worker. And then I have again used the same formula, that is index and match function. For array I have to first select the range that is I want to seen as an output, and the row number is come from the match function, and match function is using the lookup value that is shown here. The cell reference is C22 and this value is looked up in this array, that is the upper arm array, and match type is 0. And for the column argument entry I have to use these two ranges that score value is mentioned there, and these two values are looked up in these two ranges. And then finally again put a 0 for the exact match and finally click the enter key and you will get the result, that is 5. Now let's cross check. The upper arm score value is 4 and the lower arm score value is 1 and the wrist score value is 2 and the resultant answer is 5, and here you can see number 5. Okay, after calculating the score values of table A and table B, you have to add the load or force value and the coupling force value. And further details of these two values can be found under the REBA worksheet. And then simply sum these two values and you will get the answer, that is 6, that is actually the score A, mean the input argument for table C. And sum these two values, table B plus coupling force, and this value is named as the score B value, and this one is also the input value for table C value. And table C value is again calculated using the index and match function, and same arguments are used to calculate the table C score value. And but this time I have to enter the table C name range for array argument. For row number again using the match function, but this time lookup value is score A, that is looked up in this range. The range is named as the score A, and the column value is found using the score B value, and this score B value is looked up in this range, that is score B named range. And then simply click enter key and you will get the result. So here you can see the score A value is 6 and score B value is again 6, and the matching value of these two value is 8, and here you will get the answer, that is 8. And then you have to add the activity score, that further detail can also be assessed under the REBA worksheet, and then sum these two values and you will get the REBA score, that is 10. So these simple steps are required to automate the REBA worksheet. Okay, so now let's move to the input sheet, and this one is actually the input sheet or the interface for you. And you have what you have to do, you have to simply add the input values like these input cells, and the rest values will be calculated automatically. So so this 10 value is actually showing that the risk level at that particular task is high and necessary soon action should be taken soon. Okay, so now let's change the trunk value to 3, net value to 2, and let value to again 3. And now let's change the group for B, the upper arm value to 3, lower arm value to 2, and the wrist value to 1. And you will get the score of table A and table B. Same formula is added here as discussed on the calculation sheet. Then add the load or the force value as well as the coupling value, and then sum these two values and you will get the score A and score B. And using these two score value you can calculate the table C score value again using the same formula as described on calculation sheet. And then add the activity score. Let's change its score to 3, and here you will get the REBA score, that is 13. That is very high. It means the action should be taken now. Okay, so as you change the values on this input sheet, the output REBA sheet values would also be changed. And how these values would be changed? In that case, you can move to the insert tab and simply move to shape and add the text box here like this, and link this text box to the input sheet that cell value. So whenever the value in this cell is changed, the value in this uh, particular address will be also changed. For example, let's change its value 3 to 2, and here you will get again 2, and rest of the values are also linked in the same procedure as explained before, and you will get the final REBA sheet and then simply print out this sheet and present your in your organization. So one last thing, that is how this list value is actually comes from. To create the list of these numbers, you have to move to the data tab, and under the data tab move to the data validation button, and under the setting and you select the list option, and under the source field add the values 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5, and you can also add the title and the input message under the input message tab. Like when you move to this one or this cell, that is I8, you will see the information that is actually helpful to assigning the weights in case if you are not remember the score values. So these are the steps that was required to automate the REBA worksheet. Thank you.